Rewind to 1984. A youthful Steve Jobs strides onto a podium about to alter the world with the debut of the Macintosh. Yet the story started much earlier. A modest garage in the nucleus of Silicon Valley, the groundwork for one of the globe's most dynamic tech behemoths was being established. The year was 1976, an era when computers were still a rarity, a long way from the personal gadgets we are familiar with today. In this environment, a trio of visionaries dared to dream: Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne. United, they launched Apple Computer Inc., a name set to revolutionize the technology sector. Jobs, visionary, anticipated the possibilities of personal computing far ahead of its actualization. Wozniak, the engineer, possessed the technical expertise to bring that vision to life. And Wayne, albeit his forthcoming departure from the company, contributed the business insight to steer the fledgling company in its formative stages. Their inaugural creation was the Apple I, a fundamental computer kit for enthusiasts, debuted in 1976. It was a humble beginning, yet it laid the groundwork for the revolution that was to follow. The subsequent year, the Apple II was revealed. This was a machine unlike any other of its time. It was user-friendly, featured a color display, and had the capability to run a variety of software. The Apple II was not merely a product, it symbolized the potential of personal computing, setting Apple on a trajectory of unyielding innovation. 1984 then arrived, a year that would be permanently inscribed in tech history. A young Steve Jobs, adorned with a bow tie, showcased the Macintosh. This was not just any computer, it represented a new epoch. The Macintosh encapsulated Apple's vision, a computer for the common man, not just the privileged. It featured a graphical user interface, a groundbreaking attribute of its time, democratizing computing for all. With the unveiling the Macintosh, a new age had dawned, not only for Apple, but for the entire realm of technology. Jobs was out of Apple for a while, but destiny brought him back in 1997, and boy did he make a splash. Our story picks up with Steve Jobs returning to Apple after a 12-year hiatus. Jobs had been ousted from the company he co-founded in 1985, but he didn't let this setback slow him down. During his time away, he founded Next, a computer platform development company, and bought what would become Pixar, the animation studio responsible for classics like Toy Story. However, Apple was struggling. The company was on the verge of bankruptcy and needed a shot of vitality. So, in a twist of fate, Apple purchased Next, and with it, brought back Steve Jobs. Returning to the helm, Jobs was faced with the monumental task of revitalizing a company that was on the brink of collapse. But Jobs, with his inherent knack for innovation and his keen sense of what consumers wanted before they knew they wanted it, was up for the challenge. And he did not disappoint. Jobs' second stint at Apple brought about a new era of innovation and success. He introduced the iMac in 1998, a desktop computer that was not only powerful, but stylish, coming in an array of vibrant colors. The iMac was a huge success. It brought Apple back into the limelight and proved that the company, under Jobs' leadership, was capable of creating products that were both technologically advanced and aesthetically pleasing. Then came the iPod in 2001, a pocket-sized device that could hold thousands of songs. It revolutionized the way we listen to music and set the stage for Apple's dominance in the personal electronics industry. The iPod wasn't just a product, it was a cultural phenomenon that redefined what was possible in the realm of portable entertainment. With the passing of Steve Jobs, Apple entered a new era. Could the magic continue? As we delve into the post-Jobs Apple, we find ourselves in uncharted territory, a landscape shaped by the immense legacy of one of the greatest innovators of our time. Following Jobs' departure, the mantle of leadership was passed on to Tim Cook. Cook, an operations wizard, had been with the company since 1998, and was Jobs' hand-picked successor. But the question that has been on everyone's mind is, has Apple continued to innovate under Cook's leadership, or has it merely been refining the path-breaking concepts introduced by Jobs? The answer wasn't long in coming. Under Cook's leadership, Apple didn't stand still. On the contrary, the tech giant continued to push boundaries, creating products that have undeniably influenced the industry. One of the first significant releases was the iPhone SE in 2016. This compact yet powerful device was a nod to the beloved design of the iPhone 5, proving that great things could indeed come in small packages. 2 years later, in 2018, Apple dared to redefine the smartphone once again with the iPhone X. This flagship device introduced the now iconic Notch and Face ID technology, forever changing the way we think about phone security. And who could forget the release of the Apple Watch? Not just a smartwatch, but a health and fitness companion that has saved countless lives by detecting heart irregularities. Its launch in 2014 marked Apple's first foray into wearables, and set a new standard for what a smartwatch could and should be. But perhaps the most significant shift happened in 2020, with the introduction of the M1 chip. This marked Apple's transition from Intel processors to their own in-house silicon, a move that has redefined performance and efficiency in the Mac lineup. These are just a few highlights of Apple's major product releases since the loss of Steve Jobs. Each one has left a mark on the tech industry, pushing the envelope and setting new expectations. From the iPhone SE's compact power to the M1 chip's unmatched performance, Apple has shown that it can still innovate and lead. These products and innovations show a continued drive for innovation. But is it enough to uphold Apple's reputation as a trailblazer? So, is Apple still the beacon of innovation it once was? Following the passing of Steve Jobs, the landscape of Apple began to shift. Jobs was a visionary, a charismatic leader who had the rare ability to anticipate what people wanted before they even knew they wanted it. He had a knack for creating products that were not just functional but also beautiful. This combination of functionality and aesthetics was the magic that defined the Jobs era. This question has sparked a multitude of discussions, with opinions varying from one extreme to the other. On one side of the spectrum, there are those who argue that Apple's innovation has taken a downturn since the passing of Steve Jobs. They point to the company's recent products, stating that they lack the groundbreaking innovation that once characterized the Jobs era. They argue that the company has become more focused on refining existing products, rather than creating new, revolutionary ones. Under Cook, Apple's focus shifted more towards refinement and optimization. The company began to place a greater emphasis on improving its existing products, rather than creating new ones. This was a more conservative, more pragmatic approach to innovation. But was it less magical? The answer to that question depends on how you define magic. If you define it as the ability to create something completely new and groundbreaking, then perhaps Apple's magic did diminish somewhat after Jobs' passing. But if you define magic as the ability to continually improve and refine, to create products that are better, faster, and more efficient, then Apple's magic is very much alive. In fact, under Cook's leadership, Apple has grown into one of the most profitable companies in the world. It's a different kind of magic perhaps, but magic nonetheless. The magic might have changed, but Apple was far from done. Now, we look ahead. What's next for Apple? As we gaze into the crystal ball of tech innovation, the future of Apple appears as exciting as ever. With the recent launch of iOS 17 and the 15th iteration of the iPhone, Apple continues to pave the way for technological advancements. However, the question on everyone's mind is, what's next? In the world of technology, the only constant is change. Apple's future seems to be leaning towards a more integrated experience, with devices, software, and services all working in harmony. The focus is on creating a seamless ecosystem where your phone, your watch, your laptop, and even your home appliances all communicate and work together effortlessly. But what about the bigger picture? Will Apple continue to be a leader in innovation? The answer lies in the enduring legacy of Steve Jobs. Jobs was not just a pioneer. He was a visionary who saw the potential of technology to change the world. His philosophy of think different is deeply ingrained in Apple's DNA. In the past, Apple has shown an uncanny ability to redefine existing markets and create new ones. The iPhone transformed the phone industry, the iPad created a new market for tablet computing, and the Apple Watch is redefining wearable technology. So it wouldn't be surprising to see Apple once again redefine a market or create a new one. However, Apple's future is not just about hardware and software. It's about the impact they can have on our lives. From health monitoring and fitness tracking to tools for creativity and learning, Apple is focused on creating products and services that enrich our lives in meaningful ways. As we look to the future, one thing is clear. Apple is not just a tech company, it's a lifestyle brand. It's about creating an experience that is seamless, intuitive, and delightful. It's about empowering people to do what they love and to do it in ways that were unimaginable before. The legacy of Steve Jobs lives on in Apple, and we can't wait to see what's next.